Hello. Hey. What's going on? Welcome to Ask Alma. I am so glad you're here because I know y'all were looking for us last week and we were not on track. Let me tell you why. First of all, let me take my 10 seconds to let y'all know. I moved, and tonight, it might be a lot of stuff going on because I'm in a new space and I'm trying to figure out, the sun is shining on my face right now. Phantom of the Opera thing. So, but it's me. I don't have I don't know. We'll figure it out. But hey, welcome to Ask Alma. I am so glad you're here and joining me. I have a fantastic group of people with me tonight, some regulars and a newbie. And so we're excited about it. Welcome. Chime in. Let me know you're with us. Let me see you in the comments so I can say hello. Mary Lou, how you doing? I got the curls from Brazenly. Okay. That's about the only thing that's working tonight. Annette, how are you? Hello. I'm so glad you're back with us. So, panel, come on in here so I can introduce you to the people. Hello, Dee Dee.
What's up? I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever.
It has been forever. It has been forever.
Hey,
Lee Ivory, how you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm able to sit up and take nourishment.
I know that's
a wonderful thing. And we got somebody new on the block with us, y'all. Gary Gray is joining us.
Double G.
What's happening?
We are so glad you're with us. I see my cousin Jay Fiend is on here with my Aunt Jean from North Carolina. Hey, how y'all doing? And Gary, we have to take a minute to explain to you what this is all about. First of all, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Have you ever watched the show?
Only briefly, because I'm usually covering the game on a Tuesday night when this is on.
That's right. How did that see?
Man.
Yeah. All right, I'm in a bar, okay? I'm usually in a bar.
There's a lot of noise, a lot of people.
And Gary, what are you covering on Tuesday nights?
Well, tonight, no, I'm off deadline now. Just got off deadline about 15 minutes ago. So, it's kind of light here in Kentucky with no basketball, no football, but lots of horse racing. I don't know if anybody follows horse racing, but we got a little.
I like horse racing.
Yeah, we got a little controversy going on with the Kentucky Derby and stuff. So,
I know. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So, and does it really matter at this point? Because if you present yourself to be the winner and you get all of that, all the accolades, and then you find out that this has happened, and what?
Well, it's weird because there's a process, my experience here, that you win the Derby first weekend in May, you get the trophy afterward, and then there's another ceremony, another little presentation of victory lap here in June. Actually, it would be coming up this weekend. And with the with the Triple Crown winners we've had, they've always made this triumphant return, and they present the trophies to the owners, the jockey, the trainers, and and looks like they'll give them but this one, everything is still on hold because and it might be months before we really know who the winner is, because when it comes to drug tests, they want to be as thorough as possible, and then there'll probably be a suit and then a countersuit, and the last time this happened was 1968, and it took 4 years to settle that before that.
Wow. That is so interesting, Gary. Well, I'm glad you have the night off and that you are joining us, because we like to have fun on Tuesday nights, and we like to hang out with people who like to have fun. So I hope
Does this count?
He didn't get the
memo. We know that ain't nothing but apple juice.
No. Man, I live in Kentucky. I
know, right?
Right.
I got 6 distilleries within 3 miles of me.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I'm surprised you up right then.
Oh yeah, man! I'm
He
telling
said
you.
he just got off deadline. If we had called him around 9:00, it might be a different story.
Can we drink on air? I mean, you know,
Yes,
I know you can't
absolutely. Drink on air. We drinking on air. I'm drinking on air. Dee Dee is drinking on air, and I know Lee has something on the rocks right beside him. I don't even know why.
Yep.
Why?
I even got
It's a nice little crystal
my
glass.
chaser too.
Hey, shout out, hey Gary, shout out to our boy Chuck Johnson. He just joined the
He did.
Hey,
Hey, Chuck.
Big Chuck, what's happening, bud? Man, that's what I'm talking
Oh, look
about.
at Lillian.
They should call it AA.
We're gonna put it all in AA.
We already in AA. Ask Alma. We are right here.
There you go.
That's right. We are right here. Chuck, I'm so glad you're watching. Because, Chuck, you should watch, and then I'll call you next week. We'll figure out what night you going to be on here.
Oh, Lord.
That would be a lot of fun.
You know,
I see our friend Lee.
Petrella.
you know, I would be remiss, totally remiss. One of the, you know, I've worked. All of us have been very blessed over our careers to have worked with a lot of celebrities, worked with a lot of people, and it's not often that we work with celebrities that we know.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
a difference. There's a difference. So one of the celebrities from my hometown, Hot Springs, Arkansas, is my homegirl, Petrella Country Soul. To me,
Yes.
Petrella Bonner, you know. Her dad cut my hair. Used to cut legions of people's head in Hot Springs. But Petrella is a legend, an absolute legend, pioneer, ceiling breaker in country music.
Okay.
Yes.
She's known as the first lady of country soul. And
Yes,
I can
she
just
is.
go on and on and on and on. So anyway, full disclosure, Alma and I have been working with her and her folks, and she's got a brand new album out. It's her 8th studio album?
Yes, it's her 8th. Yes.
Yeah, and it's called Songs of Many Colors. The songs are kicking. Her vocals are strong. She looks good.
She's beautiful.
Yeah,
inside and out.
Yeah, she's really, really a good person, and so we're really looking forward to working with them, and we're hoping that this new album will really, really do well for her, which
we really want y'all. Yes. Because the African American community, we really want to encourage you guys to support her in her country soul genre of music.
Yeah,
because you know it's a little bit of country and everything. We all know that. Yeah, and it is absolutely fantastic. So I have
12 bar blues. That's all it is.
What is it?
Country ain't number 12 bar blues.
I posted her on my Facebook page. So if you guys want to make sure you remember who she is and where to reach her, please do. I want to say hi to Carmen. And I saw, let's see, Gail. Hey, Gail. That's my cousin Gail. Y'all know she is such a huge supporter. I'm so grateful.
Oh, look at that. You're one
Jared. Oh my gosh, Jared, thank you so much for watching. I posted this, I think, on my high school Facebook page or something, but it is really great that you have logged on to watch. I'm so glad. As a matter of fact, I'll reach out to you and see if you want to be on the show because that would be a fun conversation after all these years. And you know what? Speaking of years ago, I told you guys that I just moved. So we're in a new place, and that's why everything's all over the place, and I haven't quite sort of figured out what
party is when.
Yes, we have definitely got a party here.
Okay.
But
I think the party's at your house first, Lee.
Yeah, Lee, definitely. The part we're doing the cookout. Lee, we're doing a cookout at your house. Yes, I'm gonna work that out with y'all because I am so looking forward to that. What was hilarious is the sellers had agreed to have a screen repaired, and so they had 30 days to get it done. And so the guy came yesterday. So he says hello. I said hello. So he says, nice house. I go, thank you. So he says, where are you from? Are you from the area? I said, no, I grew up in Alexandria, Virginia.
Gum Springs, baby.
Right. So he says,
Me
so
too.
did I. Right. He goes, I grew up. Well, he said, we lived there until I turned 10 and then we moved. And I said, oh, okay. He said, yeah, the only memory I have is at Patrick Henry Elementary School. I go, wait a minute.
Yep.
I went to Patrick Henry.
Yep.
He says, what year did you graduate high school? We graduated high school the same year and everything. I said, so at some point we passed each other in third grade.
That's cool.
But, 50 plus years later, we don't recognize each other.
Mm-hmm.
But that was so funny. And it was just so kind of full circle. It was hilarious. But I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. It's funny because I think the three of us, you, me, and Dee, we lived out there at the same time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I lived out there 8 years. And so all the little kids, I knew all the little kids in the neighborhood because they were from, my deal was you could get popsicles, soda pops, whatever you wanted, but one, you had to come in and help me with some chores, and two, you had to read the newspaper, and then I would sit around with them and have a quiz about what they read.
Yeah.
These cats are like 30 now.
Right. I know.
Yeah, and so I see them at the barbershop and stuff like that. Mr. Lee,
And Lee, you know what I don't like? Hey, Sharon, how are you? And I see Carmen is on here. Hi, Carmen. Carmen's in Florida. She's been on our show before. You know what else? And maybe it's just me, and reel me in, because Dee, you have to put me in check from time to time. When they do the, hey, Miss Alma, hey, Miss Alma, it's like, am I her? Like, but can I just be, what's up, Alma?
Because they were children when you were an adult. That's what you're old. You wouldn't walk up to one of your mom's friends and say, "Hey, Carolyn," you wouldn't do that.
I know, but I just don't want to be her right now.
I know.
That ain't nothing.
You get the it's two-sided, because you get the person who says, "Hey, how you doing?" and you start to feel really good, and then the next breath somebody says, "Excuse me, ma'am. Can you?" You're like,
oh, see, that ain't
all
nothing.
right,
Garrett, you got to tell them, man. Look here, for dudes who've been used to trying to be cool and all that kind of stuff, and you run into like a beautiful young lady and you ain't trying to do nothing.
Right.
You're just trying to keep your mat cool, you know what I mean? Yeah. And she's like,
why your belt so high?
You remind me of my daddy. You remind me of my uncle.
Yes, sir. And all that. You just what?
Where's your wheelchair?
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I'm a servant.
Right. It's like, am I him? I don't want to be him. I'm like, am I her? I don't want to be her.
When it hits you, it hits you hard. It's a shock. And,
I know, right?
And especially like, it's been a few years since I've ridden my bike. I didn't bring my bike to Kentucky, but a few years ago, I did something I always wanted to do. I bought a Mustang convertible because
I saw it on your Facebook page.
Yeah, so it was one of those things. With all the driving I do between Louisville and Lexington, that's a long drive, and I said I decided to get something pleasurable. The first day I had that thing. Midlife crisis, huh? Yeah.
Someone said that to you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody's got that wise guy friend that says it. So one of my boys, and he said, yeah, go ahead and buy it. So like 3 hours after I bought it, and I texted him a picture, he's like, midlife crisis, huh?
You know what you say? You say good paycheck.
That's what I'm saying.
Becky says that Troy told me that she met a man who tried to flirt, and he was old, at least 35 or so.
At least 35.
At least 35. He was old.
The dudes at the basketball court, if they were like 27, 28, when we were like 16, 17, we wouldn't even pick them.
Right. No, really.
Like, oh, man.
It's like when you walk into when you walk into the barber shop. I mean, even now, it's like, I don't do the barber shop. I do it, I'm the kitchen beautician. Right. But even when we were younger, Lee, when we walked into that barber shop, we never went by the old guy in the chair, Cedric the Entertainer, even though he might have been the best barber in the shop.
Yeah, but you couldn't take that chance. Couldn't take that chance. Hey, my man. Hey, Petrella's, like I said, Petrella's daddy, Mr. Barner, was one of the best barbers in Hot Springs. With Homegirl we talked about. But there was another one. I ain't gonna say that name, Petrella. my partner Fred had a fro like this, right? And my man was hard. He couldn't see that well. He was still trying to cut, right? He cut a part of Fred's hair from here all the way back to the middle of his head. And when he gave him the mirror, Fred about passed out. and you know what my man said? Oh, man, I thought you was somebody else. He had to give him 3 haircuts for like 6 weeks until he grew back.
Oh, man.
You know the mayor will talk all night. Should we move on to questions? I know. We start letting Lee tell his stories. We're gonna need an extra hour.
But D, we missed last week. We trying to catch up. We missed last week, so we catching up a little bit. The one thing that I do want to say that I had not mentioned is our disclaimer. We are not psychologists with PhDs. We are wonderful people who have common sense advice. And when we listen to your questions and we give you that advice, it is usually because we've had an experience or two, and we are trying to share with you a decent way to handle your business without going too far off the deep end. So with that, Dee Dee, you're with us. Gary's with us. Lee. That's okay. Don't worry about it, girl. We got you.
No, I just pushed the wrong button. It wasn't even like I was like, oops.
Look at Antoine. Antoine out here.
Auntie Alma, Martin, Gill, and Uncle Lee Ivy.
What up, Twan? What up, Twan?
Hey, Antoine, how you doing? Okay, guys, we got 3 really good questions tonight. I think they're really good. And I can't wait. Although I know how level-headed Dee and Lee are, I can't wait to hear what Gary has to contribute tonight.
Look at the time.
So let's get ready to listen to question number 1.
Hi, my name is Sherry Knox, and I am your VVR for this evening. I am also what I call myself, a wax specialist. I like to fill your homes, your life with fragrance. So when you get a chance, please check out my website. You can find me on Instagram using my name, Sherry Knox, SherryKnox. And let me help you fill your life with fragrance in a safe way. No flames, no soot, all warming your wax. So let me get started with the question for this evening. The question reads, Dear Alma, during the season of COVID, one of my coworkers was in between moving. Everything fell apart and she had nowhere to go. I offered that she come stay with me. I have a guest room and I thought it would be no problem, short term. Everything is fine. She isn't weird and keeps her place clean. She's quiet and contributes to food and the electric bill. As a matter of fact, I don't have any problems with her at all. It's just that I think it's time for her to go. I'm not really a roommate kind of person, and I'd like to have my space back. We are going on 9 months now. How do I tell this really, really, really nice lady to get out?
Oh, so y'all got through Sherry's commercial about sweet sense.
I forgot the question.
Right.
Let's go back to the wax thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's not.
Let's not talk
You
about
know
the
what she's
wax.
talking about, the wax thing.
See, for the record, I love candles, so I kind of knew what she meant, but I'm like,
I think it was the glasses. Like I was mesmerized.
Well, the
But
glasses are cool. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
So to recap the question, there's a woman who opened up her home for a coworker to say, "Hey, you can stay with me." Because this person's move fell apart during COVID. She absolutely has no problems with this coworker, who is a very, very, very nice lady, as she said. But she's just ready for her to go. Like, get out, nice lady. So how do you tell a really nice person who hasn't done anything to leave?
yeah. Well, I think that's really, it's simple in that if you have that kind of relationship with them, with a person, and you sit them down and you just say, look, I'm used to things a certain way. I've loved having you here. You've been a great roommate, but the time has come for me to kind of take my house back because I do like my privacy. I like, doing some things by myself. And I go back to my last roommate situation, probably about 10, maybe 15 years ago, and he was between houses. We got along great. And I think he stayed with me about 6 or 7 months until he found a house. But I remember that it was a little bit longer because it took longer for him to close on his house. And I didn't really have a problem with him there. When I was out of town on assignment at USA Today, he was great in terms of watching a house. But there was a point that we both realized that it had to end in terms of both kind of wanting our own space. But for me, since I was dating someone at the time and I wanted to have some privacy,
There you go.
yeah, I mean that's the main thing, that we wanted to have time to say watch TV in the living room or something like that,
Right.
or not watch TV in the living room. But but just like knowing that he was there, neither one of us could really relax the way that we wanted to.
Right.
And even though I didn't have a problem when he came out, and he didn't have a problem when I came out, that we both kind of realized almost at the same point, it's like, hey, bro, kind of need my space.
Right.
But I do think, I don't think there's anything wrong with telling someone that, I hope it helped you out. I hope it helped you get back on your feet. But, now is kind of the time that I think, we have to kind of go our separate ways in terms of living together because, I really do want my house back. And I think you could say it just like that. And I think they would understand. And again, I don't want to say guys are more different than that because I really don't know.
I was getting ready to say that, Gary, that's a very manly way to put it.
Yeah.
But you got two women, it's not going to go down like that.
Yes. And
well, Bessie says, tell the really nice roommate that you'll help her find her own place. Yep. And say goodbye to the friendship after you evict her. I think evict is kind of a strong term, but I think that COVID adds a level to this because if you know anything about trying to find, and you may be able to speak to this, Alma, it's like trying to find housing in this environment has been really difficult. So and maybe the lesson here is have that conversation before you allow someone to move in, so you're not at this place. I mean, she doesn't sound like that there's anything horrible about her. Has she even been looking, or does she think she needs to look because they've gotten along so well? So maybe just a simple conversation saying, how's the search going? Is there something I can help you with? Might move that along. She may be gone in 5 days for all she knows.
Because I thought too, because of COVID, they may have put a little bit of a delay on her search, and that they were getting along so well that she's not thinking that much about it. But I do think like COVID was uncertain to many of us. And right now it depends on who you are, how comfortable you feel. Mm-hmm. Like this weekend is a family cookout. Shout out to Kimmy. Happy graduation, girl. But I have asthma and a couple of other health issues that I'm battling. And so even though I have been vaccinated, I am hesitant to go to the family cookout with 50 or more people that we know, because it's going to be another 25 that we nobody knew about, And so, that is what I think has to play a part in this issue with her. Like if it was regular times, you could just say, hey girl, what's going on? Come on, let's go find an apartment for you, because I need to have my privacy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And joke about it, but in these times, it's tough. Because I almost felt myself wondering if she could just give her a little bit more time, at least until people like fully go back to work, I guess, because it's just kind of rolling out. But at the same time, I remember when you are really getting tired of something is right at the end. You know what I'm trying to say? Like things don't get on your nerves until you like, okay, I'm ready for you to go. It's not like, any wiggle movement in there. But I think it's great. That's why we got the guys. That's why we have the men on here tonight, because I think it is really funny how you guys were so easily able to explain. We just have a conversation and just, let the person know it's time for them to go. And
but Gary, in Gary's story, Gary knew that he had a plan to leave. He knew that he was trying to buy a house. He was waiting for him to close on his house. Right. He knew that eventually it was going to happen.
Yeah.
In this case, we don't know if they've even established that. But with COVID, you don't know. Yeah. So, under normal story, you say, I'm going to come stay with you for 6 months, then I'm going to be out. It's different than in an emergency, I let you come, and now we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So I would say, go ahead, Lee.
I was just going to say, but real talk, in situations like this, we just have to be adults, and we just, have to sit down and have some of these conversations are tough sometimes because you like people. You don't want to inconvenience them. You don't want to, put them in a tight situation. But I think that, like G-Man said, if you have that real conversation with them, say, hey, look, I know you want your privacy, and I know, and I do too. It's cool that when I come out of the bedroom, you putting up scores and stuff. That's cool. That's good for my ego. But at the same time, though, grown people need their space, and I think one of you, perhaps it was Alma, said that when it's getting close to the end, you can feel it.
You can feel
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the decent thing to do is just give them a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
To look, to get out of there, because it probably takes a good 3 months to really. You spend the first month looking.
Mm-hmm.
Spend the second month kind of getting your money together, and then you spend the third month signing that check and then moving. So
right, it's so true. I mean? So yes, we do. Oh, so that's fantastic. That can be the advice that we give. Go ahead and have the conversation, whatever it may be, hard or not so hard. But let her know that she has 90 days. Because I think you can even tell a husband that if you need to. You got 90 days. That's a nice thing right there. Instead of saying, get out.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I think once you have an idea of what their end game is before the game even begins, I think that will make it a whole lot easier.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Up front.
And Alma, you were talking about it, it's different for women. And I really would like to kind of hear that. Is it a thing where with women...
we don't have time, man.
Okay.
We don't have time. We just do not have time. Don't even go down that way. We'll talk offline. You know,
but it's true. You're right. I think the conversation is very different for two women, than it is for two guys. But it was really nice to see how men could have that conversation and it work out, and y'all get along and be friends afterwards. Because that might not happen between two women.
Guys just know it. They just know it.
Yeah. Right. Y'all don't need the extra words. Sometimes we have extra words.
And stop eating my ice cream, or it's gonna be trouble. Trouble.
Y'all only have 3 things in the refrigerator anyway, so
ice cream, peas, and bologna.
Beer, right?
Yeah. We ain't got beer.
See, my thing.
Or bourbon.
It would be tough for me since I like to cook a lot, and if I had a roommate, if I know the time has come to separate. When I come home and he'd be like, "Hey, what's for dinner?"
Oh, you got to go.
Yeah, no, I'm like
a knuckle sandwich, man. These hands are what's for dinner. Yeah.
You know, I go and pick this up and it like flies out of my hand because it's so light. It's like, oh, you got to go,
right.
Man. No, you got to stay out of my wood.
You don't drunk up all my makers.
I know, man. No. Like you said, trouble. See, that's the kind of thing that makes me go Bertie Mac. Like, what the hell is going on here, America? Shoot, eating up all my liquor, eating all my damn food. What the hell's up with that?
Hey, Gary, you're mad because I drunk up all this liquor.
Not because they didn't pay a bill.
Right.
No, hey man, no. That's a bridge too far, America.
I know, right?
Hey, Tracy, my cousin Tracy joined us. How you doing, girl?
Man, Norman gonna kill us if we don't.
I know. Okay, so it's been funny.
All right, Norman.
Okay, so let's list that we agreed. Give her a timeline. Our suggestion is at least 90 days. Yeah. And then you guys should be able to go your separate ways and maintain your relationship at work when you see each other. All righty. Thank you guys for that. Thank you.
Kay says she loves us all. Hey, Kay.
Let's listen to question number 2.
Hi, I'm Rio, and I'm this week's BVR for Ask Alma. Dear Alma, during COVID, my parents offered us to move into a vacant house they owned and had moved from. They wanted to help because my hours were cut, and me and my family would be in better shape if I didn't have to pay rent. My wife agreed, so we gave up our apartment and moved. Things were fine until my brother lost his job, and he needed to move in too. He and I never got along, and this situation doesn't make anything any better. He's a pothead, and he can't keep a job. All he does is smoke weed. To tell you the truth, I don't even think he looks for a job. My wife said he can't smoke weed in the house with the kids around. I've talked to him about it, and he says weed is not considered dangerous, and that he has the right to do whatever he wants in the house. It doesn't belong to him, to me or him. It's our parents. What can I do? Please help.
Rio, thank you, Rio, for
the
reading
minute he said weed, that I was like, oh god.
It's time for some fish cuffs.
So the whole family is living in the parents' house now. Like both siblings have moved in.
Both siblings. Two brothers. One is married with kids. The other one is single. And actually, this guy and I went back and forth with his email for a little bit because I wanted him to give us a little bit more information. Because of course, the first part of his question was, "How do I kick my, pothead brother out when we need to?"
Lillian hit on it. That's exactly what I was going to say. Go to the parents, get a ruling on who's in charge of the house.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go tell your parents that your brother is smoking weed.
You don't go tell mama.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it don't matter how old you are.
But the point of the house was to support the son and his wife and his family. Because they have a family. They have a family unit that they're not surprised that their other son doesn't work and smokes weed. They already know that. What was the guy from Jungle Fever?
Gator.
They knew Gator.
Gator, oh yeah.
They knew They knew that Gator was who he was. That is not a surprise to them. Like, why he now thinks that he should move in with them is the question. Like, where did he come from?
Yeah.
He already didn't have a job. He already smoked weed. So where did he come from, and why does he think he needs to move in with us?
Yeah,
but so he wouldn't have got in.
But I'm gonna go back to my parents because they are the arbiters of this thing, right? It's their house, so I was like, I'm gonna take him with me, Mama. Who is charge? Tell him who is charge at this house. And if your mama say, "Where's both y'all houses?" Now you got a problem.
Right.
But chances are, Mama and Daddy gonna say, "Well, you know, you're the most responsible one, so your word is the final word." And so then you get to make some decisions. But until y'all get that understanding, it's gonna be crazy. You know,
where was Gator living before he moved in with them?
That house, that apartment with Halle Berry, right?
Wow. He was listening. He was living at DS. The streets.
The streets.
The streets.
So he essentially decided, if my brother is living in this house for free, I should go over there and live too.
Yeah,
no, I think like he lost his job. No, I think like he didn't have anywhere to go is what he was saying. So
because
he
tested positive.
I don't know. But he said that he constantly just smokes weed in the house with their 2 kids.
How can he afford it?
Man, people, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. Where are you from?
Yeah,
Where are you from? Jersey?
Had to throw it in. I'm putting on a different face.
Right.
This is not the Camden, New Jersey D, y'all. No.
Right.
Yeah. Why you gotta be out me?
Money, $5, $10 at a time.
You can borrow that, right?
Always a hustler. Always. He may not be able to afford cigarettes.
Right.
He don't have his weed.
He should know not to do it around. And I don't understand. Like, couldn't he just smoke in his room? Or something?
No.
Or out on the patio.
No.
Yeah.
Out on the patio.
Just don't care about nobody else with him. He's a man.
Right.
Yeah. He ain't got no manners. You know what I mean? Come on now. Everybody got.
And maybe there's some decision making before the first joint, but after that, it's just however he feels like doing
it.
Yeah. I mean,
what'd you say?
He need a 2-piece.
I wouldn't go to the parents though. That's funny that all 3 of you said that, and that never even crossed my mind.
Absolutely,
yeah, because it is still their house, and there should be a modicum of respect for who owns the house.
Your mom that he's smoking
weed?
Hell
Big
yeah!
Mama need to say. Big Mama need to say who's in charge. Yes, that's how we do.
I wasn't necessarily co-signing that because she would have to make him move in first. He wouldn't have got in. He would have just decided, tomorrow I'm gonna move in with y'all. That wouldn't have been an option. So he would have been over there saying, "Mama, she won't open the door for me. So can you make her let me stay there too?" That would have been the conversation. We really got
that's the conversation they should have had. But now that he's up in there. And and
he was saying not that I don't know if it makes a big difference, but he was saying that it's a pretty big house, but you can still smell the weed like from one part of the house too.
Weed, I mean, for all of us that were in college and had roommates and in dorms and apartments, weed doesn't go away. It just does not go away. Yeah.
But now I don't know this for myself, but can't you let me clarify that up front. But can't you roll the towel and slip it at the bottom of the door to help
you try.
Smoke?
Yeah. But if you chain smoke weed, if you sneak in a cigarette or a little hit, every now and then. Yeah. But if you chain smoke weed, that towel is going to smell like weed too. It's going to come right through the walls, the floor. That's why that people don't want you to smoke in the house. Plus, it doesn't go away.
Y'all missing it, man. Y'all thinking this is like there's some decorum going on.
That's true.
This dude is like he's
walking around.
He don't care. It's like you can't tell me what to do.
Right.
It's
not your house. Yeah.
But Big Mama now.
Big Mama he's like Rock's brother.
Right.
Yeah. He
like,
did say that he says that to him when he tries to talk to him about his kids and what's going on, with his wife being there with the kids and everything. And he'll say, this ain't your house.
So he got two choices. He could give him these hands, or he can go talk to Big Mama there. It's very clear to me.
Sharon says, get him some edibles, and then it won't be a problem. Get him some cookies.
He'll be lazy.
See, I have a feeling the kids gonna have a problem with that too, because the first time they come in the kitchen, ain't no Doritos down there. He got to go.
Uncle Johnny ate all our snacks. Where our snacks?
I know, right? Can't keep no damn Fruit Loops in the house because
I know, right? Trail the sugar pops to his room.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. A trail of sugar pops. Chuck, let me see you comment, Chuck Johnson. I'm gonna put you on blast. Tell me what you would do about that. That is hilarious. So
well, some people say you can use air purifiers. People have come up with some, you can use an air purifier. If he smokes, he can rent. If he smokes, he can rent. It's expensive. Right.
No air purifier.
Right.
Who can make his blunts and on the bed, or smoke rings up in the air, walking in there eating hyena sausage. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
And potted meat.
We don't call them Vienna. Down south we call them
right. And I correct my husband every time. It's been 26 years. No, he still says it that way.
It's more fun to say Vienna, Hey, it's like, we're in the middle of a pandemic, damn it. I'll put the L back in salmon.
Oh my gosh.
Lillian.
Bessie, you like them? Oh, I don't. They are so soft. Ew. I just don't like them.
Oh, man.
But you know what? I don't know if Robert Robinson is watching. But remember, I don't know if you guys remember, we were somewhere and Robert Robinson bought this dip in made with sardines.
Oh yeah.
And mustard.
Oh yeah.
Was it mustard?
I mean, that's how you eat.
Oh, it was so good.
Oh yeah. Man, that's Saturday watching the game food. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
Your hands. It's like, Oh my
yes, it was so good. So good. Okay,
Mary Lou says she would tell my Haitian parents they would take care of him.
Don't you know? They would get rid of him.
Well, you know what? I'm glad that the three of you agree that he should tell his parents because I don't. But
I'm surprised.
But I would never.
Who takes care of it? We just let him walking around smoking.
No, I think the brother. He just has to. I was getting ready to say man up, but that wouldn't be a good choice of words. No. But he would just have to have it out with his brother to protect his wife and his kids. Mm-mm. I wouldn't tell the mom and put her in the middle of it, maybe because.
Well, maybe the conversation isn't your son smokes weed. Maybe the conversation is he comes to he wants to move in the house and he doesn't want to be considerate of my wife and my children, and that's a problem.
But as a mother, you're not going to kick your other son out. So.
Maybe.
But we don't know that she invited him in.
But one thing I do think that a parent would do, and especially a mother, I think she would be a great arbiter for saying, that it's like, you have to be respectful of your brother's family. You got kids there. Yeah. And for that matter, it's like, would you do it if me and your father were still living in that house or something? Right. Would you really want to smoke? So why in the world would you do it now?
Right. Yeah. It sounds good. I just wouldn't tell on my sibling.
But she could invite him. He could go live with them.
He could. Yeah.
I told you.
Sharon said, buy him a shed.
You got two choices. These
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. I think
big mama.
like the brothers, I think
You
the
know?
two brothers gotta like fight it out. And then, you know,
Big Mama settles that. Big Mama settles that.
So there is our advice from the panel. Tell your mom. Squeal on your brother and go run and tell your mama.
Yeah.
That is the advice we have for you tonight.
Yes, that is the advice we have.
Yes. So Gail was asking. So the real problem is him smoking the weed. Yes, that was what around the kids. He was saying that he smoked.
He just being lazy. He just being a bum. It's the whole thing, you know.
He just being a bum.
Yeah,
exactly.
And of course, all of us are coming from it from an angle where we're of a certain age and we have less tolerance for BS.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that.
Yes,
maybe if we were younger, it might be a different thing. You know, maybe like him, and that's probably why he comes, you know, with that question, because I think he might be more understanding. You know, with us, it's like for those of you with kids, especially over 20 or something, it's like, okay, when you getting out of here? You know,
right? You got to go.
I'm telling you, because by 25, those locks are getting changed. That's how. Because I remember when I came back from an internship in college, and say I was probably like in my early 20s, and I remember thinking to myself, it's like, yeah, it's time for me to start looking for a place, because I figure if I could be by myself in New York, that I can definitely be by myself in Maryland.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, like I said, but my parents were more they were more understanding, and you know, at because I was in my 20s, they said, well, you can stay as long as you want. But now that I've gotten older, and
I think it's your comfort level. Like if you're comfortable at home in the basement, then you tend to stay longer. And, you know, honestly, Josh really didn't like it, but Gill was telling him, you know, it's not going to be comfortable for you here, because then you will want to leave. Whereas, you know, my mother wanted us to stay. You guys, I want to go to question number 3 for the last 14 minutes or so of the show, because this is a really good question. So let's hear question number 3.
Hey everyone, my name is Patrice, and I'm one of your VVRs for this week's Ask Alma. Here's the question. Dear Alma, I'm the only girl in a family of 4. My 3 brothers and I are very close. We're all in our 40 to 50s and successful in our chosen fields. Our mother's battling cancer and she needs constant care. Our dad died years ago, so there is no one at the house to care for her. Of course, we're all devastated, but here's where we are fighting with each other. My brothers expect me to care for my mother. Aside from me having a full-time job and a family to care for, I can't blame it on the time. I love my mother just as my brothers do, but I'm not good at that. Hospitals make me nauseous. I hate them. I hate to visit anyone at a hospital. It's heartbreaking to me, and when I think about being the caretaker, wiping, bathing, and dressing my mom, I just break down and cry uncontrollably. My brothers are saying that since I'm her daughter, I should be able to do it, but I just can't. They also say if I love my mom, I could do it, and that breaks my heart. Do you think there's something wrong with me? I can make decisions for my mother's care, and I'm also willing to pay the bills, but I just can't do the work myself. Please help me. What should I do?
First of all, I want to tell her it's nothing wrong with her.
There's nothing wrong with her.
It's nothing wrong with you. And don't let your brothers guilt you into thinking that it's something wrong with you, because it's not. Exactly. Everybody's not cut out to be a caregiver.
And I'm going to tell you something. This is something that runs deep in our community, especially.
Yeah.
It's always, I mean, it's you know, the height of sexism. You know, the height of taking advantage of somebody. We always think that the women in the family are the ones that these kinds of situations need to fall to. Okay? Tell you a quick story about Clarence Thomas. You remember Clarence Thomas talked about, his sister that couldn't wait for the welfare check. Remember when he was going through
Yeah.
Well, the real story, and Dr. Hill told me this. The real story was they were raised on a farm. Clarence, his brother and sister, they were raised on a farm, and where the all of them did chores, but Clarence and his brother, because of the time, they got to go away and go to school. The sister, because she was female, she had to stay on the farm, continue to do chores, and learn how to cook, clean, and all that kind of stuff. All right, fast forward 100 years, and both of them are doing well, and Clarence is getting ready to be confirmed to the Supreme Court. Well, the truth about that thing was they had an aunt. Everybody died off except this aunt, and she was sick, right? And so she took her in and, pretty much depleted all of her savings, depleted the aunt's, Medicaid and all that kind of stuff, taking care of her, where she had to go on public assistance because she had children, you know what I mean? And she continued to take care of the aunt,
Yeah.
And Clarence and his brother, they're just pretty much
gone.
They gone.
Right, doing their thing.
They gone doing their thing. And so she had to wait on the way.
Rely on that money.
Yeah, she can't rely on that. And so that happens way more.
Because clearly Clarence and his brother weren't sending any coins back to help her or the aunt.
Yeah, and they weren't, cleaning no bedpans and changing, beds and all that kind of stuff. And so that often happens in our community, and that has to stop. All of us, especially the children of the infirm, we have to pay attention. We have to share that work.
Yeah.
Responsibility. And the other part of that is the emotional, strain that we never want to be the parent.
Right.
When you look at your parents, you see strength and encouragement, and then you become that person.
Right.
That makes it very, very difficult. So her, the fact that she can't do it, maybe just watching her mother deteriorate.
Yeah.
And having to now be the adult.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think any children are built that way, male or female. They're built to now be the parent.
Yeah. Right. But Lillian is right here. It's like we see women's careers as
secondary almost.
They could be trashed, you know, at the first onset of trouble. Whereas the men, by any means necessary, we need to stay on track. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Well, someone said to hire companion aid and make the brothers pay for it.
I like that.
I mean,
there's got to be some kind of shared responsibility.
Right, it has to be shared, and you can't get assistance with that. And I think even if you can't afford a companion aid, social services usually will send somebody to your house for a couple of hours or something. I know they did years ago with my mother when my mom lived with me, but she just didn't even want anybody to come out. And because the funny thing about it is, depending on your parent, I think it would be heartbreaking to change those roles, which, we all do when our parents get to a certain space. But I thought it's funny because my mom was like, I don't care how sick or how old I am, I'm the mother, period. Right. So, you have that too, which made it not as difficult for me because I didn't have to go through that, but I can sincerely empathize with her because she said that she just can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think when I was doing it that I thought about it, or I don't think many women think about it when they're doing it. You just do it. You don't
hard work.
It is very hard. But if you know that you are not capable, then it's like, bye, Bessie.
It's better to say. It's better to recognize it.
It's better to recognize it and
absolutely.
know it. Right. Because it sounds to me, and this is another thing that I was thinking with her question, that she could tell her brothers that the mom needs a particular type of care that she doesn't know how to do.
Right.
like
know?
lifting. That's the
Exactly.
lifting is always the
Yeah,
hard part. But
yeah.
you had a good point. The comments about the, I guess, defaulting to the sexist roles, and that's often the problem, because guys tend to think, well, I've got to be the provider. I've got to make sure that these things are paid for, and then and men tend to think, well, the woman should be the nurturer, and that's the thing that has to change, especially in our community, because
Absolutely.
I mean that attitude is really, really entrenched in it, and it's created a lot of stress in some situations that I've seen. Now, I mean, like from my own experience, because I took care of my father, and my sister took care of my mother, and they were in separate residences and that kind of thing, because I mean they just could not be together.
Right.
And that's when I realized, just how much work it is. And even though in both cases we had nurses come in and take care of them, because obviously both of us had to work.
Yeah.
But that shared responsibility, and we brought them together at different times, so they remember what they look like.
Yeah.
But that shared responsibility, that makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
And especially as things deteriorate and you start worrying about how we're going to divvy up stuff.
Yeah.
If you don't nip it in the bud now, I'm telling you, it's going to create a lot of hard feelings down the road.
It is.
This reminds me of just my own family. My mother is one of 9, and she's the only girl. And when my grandmother got older, there had to be some decisions made, and my uncle took my mother home because he had the space and the financial ability. And when she got sick,
your grandmother home.
Took my grandmother home. Yes, my grandmother lived with my mom's twin for probably for about 10 years. And when she got really sick, I remember there being a conversation with all of the kids about how they would proceed. It wasn't, I don't recall there ever being, my mom was the only girl, so she should take care of it.
Right.
They actually had a conversation about it. We didn't end up bringing her home, so the plan, didn't need to manifest itself. But now that I think about it, like my grandmother lived with my uncle. Like she didn't come live with us.
Right.
Because not that we didn't spend a lot of time there. Like we went over there probably every weekend. I spent the entire summer there, which is probably by design. It's like, we'll just have her go over there all summer, which my mom was very happy about. But there was that. I don't ever recall there being a gender conversation.
Yeah, and her brothers are playing a serious mind game with her and really putting a lot of pressure on her. And that is wrong. That's every kind of way.
And that could be just culturally passed down. I mean, that may be something that it's always been like that. It's always been that the women did this and the men did that.
Yeah, and it's time to break the cycle.
Right, break that
cycle.
So,
first and foremost, there's a lot of information that she could look into, and if she needs to get somebody, that's fine. But more than anything, stand up for yourself. No, it's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. And reach out to, like you said, reach out to the proper folks.
Exactly.
Right. Help. It's not all. Depending on where you are, it's not always easily, accessible and stuff like that. But there is help out there. You just have to.
And there are people in the community who have those jobs who can help you.
Yeah.
I can remember when I did live in the community, it was always somebody there to do everything. I had a housekeeper, I had somebody to come do this and somebody, because there's so many people looking for jobs and looking to do different things. And it actually helps to build in the community where you are when you reach out and ask for the help that you need.
Yep.
It's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So you guys, we're pretty much at the end of the show tonight. Oh my gosh, the hour went by so fast. It really does go by so fast. Gary, I've got to have you back on here. I know you're covering.
I can't wait to come back. Just let me know. I want to come back and have fun.
I really did enjoy having you on Double G tonight. It was fantastic. Lee Ivory, the mayor, we love having you on. As a matter of fact, I think Lee is coming back on next month with Dottie. Dottie and Rico.
Rico.
Dottie called us out and said we needed some Asian flair on the show. So we said, okay, girl.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. Dee Dee, my best friend Dee Dee, girl.
Dee.
We need a parking lot dinner or something. This is just ridiculous now.
Yes, we do.
Shout out to Marvin Ware, my homie.
Yes, Marvin and
Thanks, Annette.
Oh yeah, okay. I was getting ready to say her name too, and I am glad that Chuck was watching. So Gary, when are you coming back out this way? Let us know. Email us or let us know so we can get together and hang out. But otherwise,
probably the middle of next month, like maybe like the second week of July. For sure.
Okay, so we might can plan that cookout at Lee's house around that time.
And speaking of cookouts, Lee, talk to your brother here because I'm trying to have a cookout here very soon.
Right.
And he's always talking about he wants the ribs and everything, but it's just like we live like 20 miles apart. It's like you can't get in the car. He wants us to bring it to him. I'm like, if I'm gonna fire up Big Bertha, to do some ribs for him, he can come to the mountain.
That's right. Stay on it, man. But there are some benefits. There are some benefits to going to his crib. You can drink up his liquor, and you can get in his pool. So.
That's right.
There you go. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Petrella, we love you. Thanks for watching. Yay.
I love you guys. I miss you all.
Oh, Gary, we love you so much and miss you too. But we are very proud of what you're doing. Yeah,
all right.
We're very excited for what you're doing.
Because I have a friend here. He's got a big brother. Okay,
I know, right?
You got to come meet him. Yeah.
JC, give Aunt Jean a kiss from me. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week, Tuesday at 7:00. Bye.
Bye, Petrella. That was a good show.
That was a great show. Fun.